we are going to talk about sports and how they might relate to life or business in some manner.
Yeah.
Yeah, we might not think they might relate, but if you dig down deep, there's some similarities and some things to look at. So, good sports. Let's go with that. Let's just start with what our favorite teams are and rivals and that whole thing. With what's your favorite sports teams right now?
I mean, Dallas Cowboys always
Ooh.
for life, baby, for life. How
What
about
about
the boys?
what about other sports? Any other
There is no
basketball?
other sport.
Wow, you really are from Dallas.
I'm not even from Dallas, but I like Dallas. I grew up with Dallas. That's the reason why. It was just, I mean, it's America's team, obviously. It's also why it's the most hated. Everybody hates the America's team. Everybody
right.
roots for the underdog usually. Even though the Cowboys over the last 20 years have probably been the underdog, we still get rooted against and hated on. But
That's very
whatever.
true. But no baseball, no
There's no
basketball.
real reason. Like, I'm not from Dallas or anything like that. It's just because I grew up in a house where my family liked that teams.
Well, that's one of those teams that everybody in the country likes for in certain pockets. The
Where
Packers are
everybody
that
hates.
way. Cowboys are that way. Yeah, so there's a lot of those teams. What about baseball, basketball? No other sports really?
No, I don't really watch any of them. I mean,
Okay.
there's certain things, like there's certain basketball teams and coaching and players that I admire, but I'm not a fan of
The actual team.
basketball or baseball
Right.
or any of that stuff. How about you? What's your favorite team or favorite sport?
I don't know. My sports change all the time, but football is the Packers. My mom's side's from Wisconsin, so it's kind of a given. Their rivals, the Bears, and that's always one of those old school things. But I'm far removed from it. I live in California, so who knows? But football was the Spurs. I'm a Spurs fan for the last 25 years or so. So they're not good
Why
right
is
now.
that? San Antonio.
I don't know. I was a young teenager, and Tim Duncan was being drafted. I was 12 or 13, and I was following him in college, and I just liked him, and I followed, and I said, "Hey, I'm a Spurs fan now." So I was 12 or 13 at the time. So
That's a good lesson, by the way, right there. Sorry to interrupt. That's a good lesson of how much influence you might have with your family and friends and people. Like, I grew up, so I liked them because it's what people liked when I grew up. You grew up because there was a good basketball player that whatever you saw on TV or whatever the case was, it influenced you, and now that's your team.
Right.
So, parents with your kids, what you say does matter. What you put them around, what does matter. I just want to throw that out there.
That's a good point. But basketball was probably my favorite sport growing up. Played basketball, here and there. But like you, yeah, never watched really baseball. Don't have any teams. I got into hockey for a little while there, but don't have any teams. But I respect all those sports, and like I said, I pull different things from different coaches and teams, like you said, and can appreciate it for sure. So, I watch them all occasionally. The bigger things like the championship games and soccer and tennis and whatnot. But yeah, obviously basketball, football are the big ones, especially for us. So, but how do they relate in life and business? I think we can all agree that you have a structure, you have a team, you're doing things to prevent things, you're doing things to promote things, offense, defense, all those things, right? Can kind of relate to a business, right? Or in life in general.
Or anything, how you raise your family, how you influence friends, how you lead other people or teach other people. Yeah, I think it applies to everything in life.
I think you were talking earlier. You probably saw some of the coaches at your kids' basketball camp that you were going to, but they just have like they try to connect the dots between a skill or something they're doing and then in real life and something they can relate to. It's funny how everything can relate.
Before we did this podcast, because my son was in basketball camp this week, and I was liking watching him in the camp. It was like I was like at a Tony Robbins conference there. You got the coach who's got a powerful voice that's stern, and it hopefully gets through to a certain percentage of those kids. I mean, it got through to an old man like me, but there's power, there's influence in the way a coach talks to people and lifts people up. But they were talking about certain things. Obviously, what today's about, strive and dream and gratitude. They had a word of the day each day and how to do something good, right? Like their homework assignment one day was to listen to the Man in the Arena speech, which if nobody's listened to it, you should. It's a great speech from like 115 years ago. And then another day was, be grateful of whoever got you to this camp and say thank you, and then do something that you don't have to do. But the rest of the actual game, I thought was, again, it's like life. Like that's a coach, that's a motivation. That's how you should lead. That's a direction that you should follow, right? That's a good coach brings the team together, leads them into victory with a game plan, inspiration and motivation and structure, I think. But life is about the other parts too. There's going to be times where you have to take a defensive stance. Life's throwing you some crazy, wild,
right.
Yeah, exactly. You got to defend it. And there's other times we need to be offensive and just take action and take risk and all that kind of stuff and go for something. So yeah, anyways, I thought it really related to like, I'm sitting there thinking like, dang, this is life, baby. This is work. I'm going to go watch games and listen to coaches get people riled up as my motivation every week if I have to.
Yeah, no, definitely. You can take little bits and pieces. Sometimes you have to be on the offensive, defensive, like you said. Sometimes you have to take a timeout and just rethink things, re-strategize, restructure. So,
sometimes you got to watch the tape and see what other people are doing or what you did in the past.
Yeah, what did you do good? What did you do bad? Figure it out. So, yeah, that helps for life too, right? People make mistakes. Let's not make that one again. So yeah, I mean, it's all relatable. So, um, yeah, I mean, practice makes perfect in life, in business, and in basketball or whatever you're doing. So, um, yeah, it's a good way to live. So,
yeah. Well, I think again, what do they do? I mean, so here's things I like about like comparing sports to life, right? Like nobody that I know of starts sport and within like 6 or 12 months they're an all pro athlete, no matter what social media might make you think or whatever. And life's like that too. No matter what business you're starting or where you think it's going to go, life's a lot longer than we think. We have short-term thinking problems as humans. You don't realize it probably till you get older. I know the older I get, the more I realize things change a lot, but yeah, to me, it's like you think of all the stuff that goes on in a sport, you're consistent with everything. It takes time. It takes outworking other people. It takes constantly striving to get better and better and better. Even though you're not winning all the time, you're striving to get better or move forward. You study, you practice, you watch and review tape so you know what you have to get better at. You take risks, you work together, you get other people's opinions. I mean, this is all the same crap that if you only applied those concepts to your personal life or your work life or your business or whatever the case is, it would probably improve it significantly. And I know I saw this recently and I don't know what it is exactly, but I know that there are studies out there that, kids who grow up doing sports are more highly motivated, have better ethics and morals, and are typically more successful. And it's because they get, like what we just said, why you like the Spurs and Tim Duncan, why I like the Cowboys. It's because it's something that's embedded in them at an early age to stay consistent with.
great point to, think about all those things. And it's fun. Sports are fun, but if you can apply some of those things with the life and business, it'll make those things a little funner and maybe easier to do in your everyday. So, but good talk. So, yeah, that's sports, life, and biz, and how they relate. Anything else to add for this topic?
Not at all. Watch
Front
sports,
front runner,
mimic
front runner.
sports, mimic winners.
Don't be a
Just
front runner.
win.
Don't be a front runner. Keep your
Front
team.
runner, is that the word you're looking for?
That's it.
Dang it, you're
Yep.
supposed to put it in the comments. That's the only comment we'll get.
Don't call.
No,
All right.
man. Like I said, try running your life like you're running a sports team. Be a copycat. Be a copycat.
Yeah.
Just copy what a winning foundation is doing and apply that in your life. And I bet if you're not happy now, it'll make you happier. If you can't write in the comment what your favorite sport and sports team is, that would be awesome. Curious to see. Maybe we do a poll.
Yeah, we'll see what we come up with and what trash talk I can provide for you.